been? How's everything going?
Yeah, going very, very good. Best training camp we've had so far with Andy. So yeah, delighted. In a great position, feeling fantastic and just ready to fight.
Good stuff. How have you changed preparations at all? Just looking at the social media, you seem to be doing a lot of running, bit of swimming. Do you change
Yeah.
much training camp to training camp, or is it do you keep it fairly similar?
Yeah, this time round, Robert, we've brought Wayne Corbett from Limerick on board. He's been a very big help to me so far. We've added swimming, sprinting, mountain running, a lot of different things, strength conditioning to the camp. So yeah, delighted so far the work that we put in together and looking forward to see how it plays out next week.
Absolutely, and all that sort of strength and conditioning, endurance, and all that. That's all the sort of
Mhm.
stuff that will help you if you sort of get to the trenches if needs be, like, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So let's hope it comes in my favor.
Good stuff. And look, Paddy, before we look ahead to next week, we might look back on the last fight. Just how do you look back on it now, a couple of months on that night in Belfast?
Yeah, performance wise wasn't so good, but we knew the reasons. Time I
Yeah.
had planned to have Christmas off, and he told me no boxing, no training. Let's enjoy the Christmas. Then just a couple of days before Christmas, gets a call from Eddie saying he wants to speak to me in Saudi. So I presumed there was a fight going to come. So I thought roughly, I said, okay, looks to be February if he wants a fight. So, but January came a bit soon. I thought it up the ante, up the training, and try to push the body, and it didn't work really. To be fair, and the performance wasn't so good. But this time round, I had a chance to work on things and yeah, get my endurance back up where it was and put my head in a good place. And yeah, so hopefully, as I said, that you can play due in 9 days time.
And I suppose like you only probably had what it was probably only about 8 weeks really between your last two fights, wasn't it? Because you fought on obviously the Dublin card and then it was Belfast in the end of January. So yeah, when you found out,
Yeah,
you're talking what 4 weeks of a like what was it, 4 weeks of a camp or so?
less. I think it was like 3 weeks, 6 days. Then I went to
That's
Saudi, and then I
yeah.
had 6 days of a nightmare between the time difference and getting
Oh yeah, of
ready. Then I
course,
came
yeah,
back.
yeah.
Then I came back, and then yeah, so pushed the body for. Then I got sick for the first week of landing back. Then I had about 2 weeks of training, well, a week and a half really of training. Then I was cutting weight, and then I got sick a couple of days out from the fight again. So no, all
Yeah,
excuses
anything
the
that
last one.
went wrong basically, Paddy, is what
Yeah,
you're saying. Yeah.
everything went wrong. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. In fairness to your man that you fought though, he was a typical sort of tough South American sort of fighter as well, wasn't he?
yeah, he's a tough durable fighter. You know what I mean? But at the maybe my fault for not being ready for the fights. But yeah, look, great experience. It's good to get hit back. It's good to be in these kind of fights. Um, I'm not going to go through them for my professional career without getting hit. So it's good to sometimes get a few clouts and move
Yeah.
forward and just put in the extra work and just know that I don't want to be in them kind of fights. I want to have the work done and be very, very sharp when it comes to the night of boxing. And yeah, and put on a good performance.
That's what I was just going to say to you next, like the experience of that, because like
Mm.
he brought you to a place probably you haven't been before. It's fair to say, like, do you know what I mean? And you still came
Yeah.
through it impressively to win, like, do you know what I mean? So you probably learned an awful lot that night as well.
Mm. Yeah, not even inspiring to be fair, and
Yeah,
it's not being cocky or confident, but not even inspiring have I been in a real tough kind of scrap. It's always been cruise control for me. That's because I was mostly in shape, but yeah, no excuses. It's a great learning curve, and Ritson is another good fighter. So yeah, just hopefully I can put everything together that I have in this camp and bring it to the table in 9 days.
that brings us nicely on to next week, Paddy. What sort of a challenge are you expecting from Lewis Ritson?
Yeah, tough. You know what I mean? Like very experienced fighter. If he's with Matchroom, he's had so many fights with him, and he has 24 belts under his 24 fights under his belt. So yeah, very experienced. Going to be a very very tough fight. I'm expecting him to come at me, try to put pressure on me early, and kind of go off my last performance. But I think he'll be making a mistake. I think this time round I'll be more prepared and ready for the challenge.
And I suppose this is probably a bit of another step up the ladder as well to sort of where you want to eventually be, isn't it? In terms of opponents, like
Yeah, I believe we're speaking with Eddie and speaking with Andy. I believe in two fights on a world title shot. So yeah, next fight is obviously a big fight. Every fight is a big fight. Ritson is a big name to beat. We've got an eye on another fighter on the other side of the line. Hopefully, if I get through this, and then we go for a world title. So yeah, big fights, big nights. and the performance needs to be better. Yeah. So as I said, yeah, just listen to Andy and tick all the boxes and get in and fight. Hopefully, I can
That's
get
it.
the wins.
Obviously, you know yourself, 10 year 13 wins have been by stoppage. Is that the aim here again? It's just about putting in another impressive performance. If the knockout comes, it comes, and if not, but it's just about impressing sort of on the night.
But this time it's this honestly this time I've never felt as good in camp. I never sparred as well. As I said, I've added a lot more new things to the table with sprinting, swimming, strength conditioning, so more endurance. So um, yeah, performance wise, just try to get the best out of me. Just try to tick all the boxes. Try to implement all the things I've been practicing in training with Andy, and try to deliver on the night. If I can do that, I think I can be very hard beat. So yeah, performance wise, just hopefully I can just get a great performance, and whatever happens, happens. To fight.
Paddy, am I right in saying this? This is your first fight outside of Ireland since you fought on the first Taylor Catterall card, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right, actually. Yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
on the last one, I had a good few fights at home in Ireland, and yeah, it's an amazing opportunity again to be on such a big platform. Scotland and England is always a big rivalry, so it's a bit like Ireland and England, I guess. But yeah, I'm delighted to be on that undercard, and can't wait to get in there and just put on a performance.
And happy to be on the road as well. You're not gonna. It's not gonna be like fighting in Dublin. Like you know, what I mean, you're gonna have to. It doesn't make any difference here, does it?
Not really, to be fair. You know what I mean? I have a lot of support in England. I have a lot of fans in England. Um, it's all the same, really, because I think when you get in that ring, I think everything just goes silent. You're left between me and Ritson, and the only person you can hear really is the referee when you're in there battling it out. So to me, the crowd has never been an issue so far, and as I said, I just concentrate on the opponent in front of me and trying to do a job on him, and everything else kind of handles itself.
Yeah, I know you mentioned there you have your eyes on another fight. Look, I know you're not going to look by Lewis Ritson, but if you do get him, there's another Lewis waiting in the wings for later on in the year. That's obviously a massive fight that's out there for you, isn't it?
Yeah, look, there's so many big fights. He's got a very tough challenge too. Walker from England is a really, really good fighter, really solid fighter. So Crocker will have his hands full with him as well. So yeah, of course, there's all Ireland that wants that clash. It's probably one of the biggest fights in Irish history if we're looking into it rightly. All Irish clash. So I think it does any stadium in the country, whether it's going to be in Limerick, Dublin, or Belfast. I think the numbers will be spectacular in that fight. So yeah, I want that fight to happen. Yeah, it's obviously a big fight, and it puts me in a great position. If I can beat Ritson, it puts me in a great position to beat Crocker, and if I can beat Crocker, it puts me in another great position to become a world champion. So I know the fights ain't going to be easy. They're good operators, but yeah, look, I've got a lot of great aptitudes. I've great skill, great power, reflexes, everything. So just performance. If I can perform, I can be really hard to beat.
Yeah, like I know, like Paddy, we've spoken about this before, about being a world champion and all that sort of thing. The road now
Mm.
is probably as clear as it's ever been for you. Do you know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean? You
yeah,
can actually see it now, whereas
yeah.
before it was all a few more fights and a few more fights. But now you're sort of talking two more fights, and you're right in contention. Then,
Yeah, look, it has been. I've been on everyone's lips in Ireland for the last in the amateurs, but now globally in Ireland, more spread it through the country since I turned professional to become a world champion. And as you said, the path was never really clear. There's injuries, deaths, there's up and down rocky things. But yeah, everyone seemed that I was destined to be a world champion. So yeah, the path right now has opened, and I can see directly down it. I know the two challenges I may have in front of me to get that. So yeah, I'm delighted that I can see them. I'm delighted that I can look towards these kind of fighters and say, look, if I can do this and I can beat this fighter, puts me in an amazing position going forward. So yeah, so happy where I am right now. I'm delighted for it's great for Irish boxing to have
yeah,
myself and Crocker pushing for world titles. It's obviously great for the UK as well. You have Walker on the other side against Crocker is another great welterweight fighter. So yeah, we're all in great positions. It goes down to whoever performs the best, I think.
yeah. Like if Jesus, it really is. It's exciting times, isn't it? Like you must be
Mhm.
buzzing, absolutely buzzing. Like
Yeah, look, as I said, I started boxing a long time ago for big challenges. These are the challenges. You can't become a world champion in boxing without getting weight, getting in there and getting very, very tough tasks put in front of you. So yeah, but I'll be ready for them all as long as I do everything Andy tells me and have the right game plans, the right attitude and training. And then I think I could beat any single fighter in the world right now at welterweight.